Hey y'all, how's it going? I am Joy, that is Steve, and we are back with week 5. Had to look at my book of the NFL predictions versus season 3. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How about you, Joy?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little out of sorts. I don't really know exactly what's going on, but it's been a very rough week. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to gather myself and get my bearings together.
hmm
But first things first, per usual with this, how did you do last week?
Oh, it was a real improvement from last week there. At least I'm over the 500 this week there. I finished 97.
Not bad, not bad. We're close. I had a 10-6 record actually, so that's very good.
hmm
It's one game better than last week, so or than the week prior. So I'm kind of okay with it. There's a few games in here that I should have gotten right, and I'm mad. But we will talk about that in our recap. But first things first, here are our standings. We have SDS, per the freaking usual, in first place with 36, 27, and 1. John has bumped himself up to second place with 34, 29, and 1. I am in third with 33, 30, and 1. You are in fourth with 32, 31, and 1. And then Buff is 31, 32, and 1. So, really even split. This standings could go any way, be flip flopped.
True. It's
Yeah,
a, it's a close standings.
yeah, every split matters. So, week 4 review. Where do you want
Yeah,
to start? Regret, what the
yeah,
frick, or game of the week?
yeah. Obviously, the regret there
Okay.
for me there was the not picking the Vikings over the Saints there. That double jointer at the end
Oh my
there.
God, I felt so bad for the Saints on that one.
Mhm.
I really did. That was a heartbreaking way to have that thing end off. Now I'm pleased to have gotten it right, but the way that I won that was very sad to see.
Yeah, true.
It was just oh, it was a heartbreaker. For me, my regret was not listening to the recent history and not going with San Francisco to beat the Rams. I knew better, but
True.
I was trusting in Stafford, which I'm a Stafford girl. I have
Yeah,
to. It's in my blood.
true.
And then I was also trusting the defense, and I should not have.
Yeah.
I also was starting their defense in my fantasy league on sleeper, and that was not a good decision. But so that was my main regret. My first regret was going to be the Bills game, but I honestly would have chosen that anyway, regardless. So
Mhm.
yeah, 49ers always beat the Rams in the regular season, and I just need to remember that going forward. So
Yeah,
now
exactly.
that being said, they have another game later on in the season that I'm probably not going to remember my lesson.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. What was your shock of the week?
My shocker there, like you said there, I have to say the Niners beating the Rams there, obviously there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really a shock if you think about it because it makes sense, but I was shocked at how handily
hmm
they beat them. Like
Yeah.
they destroyed them on every facet pretty much.
hmm
So that was really, really surprising to me. My shock personally was the Jets.
Yeah.
Now,
Obviously.
yeah, now I'm not surprised that they removed Trubisky
Yeah.
finally because I've been telling you from the get go he ain't the
hmm
guy. So thank
Yeah.
you, Mike Tomlin, for finally listening.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, they didn't really have a whole lot to go with
True.
as a starter. Personally, I would have gone with Mason Rudolph just because he's been there longer and he already knows your scheme. And I don't
Mhm.
think that it's fair to throw Kenny Pickett to the Wolves in his first
Yeah.
season. So I
True.
still would have
But
gone with Rudolph, but whatever.
true. But he did do not too bad there.
Yeah, yeah, he did okay. His the interception, I think they said that it was Claypool's fault for just
hmm
not catching it, but
Yeah.
it's a bit of a rough start, and to lose to the Jets in your first start's kind of embarrassing. But the Steelers didn't have their defense on the field really either, with T.J. Watt still being out. So
True.
hopefully they'll
But
get better as the season goes on.
hopefully things will get better for Kenny Pickett then.
Yeah, I agree. Now, for game of the week, I am actually going to do what I did last week and take the Lions game because,
Yeah.
oh my God, that scoreagami.
Yeah. That was a high scoring affair there.
That, what a game. Like, and the fact that the Lions had that thing won with as crap as their defense is astounding to me. Like,
Yeah.
if you would have told me that putting up 45 points wouldn't have been enough to get the win, I would have called you a liar.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. And my game of the week, so sorry about this. I'm going to say the Bills beating the Ravens at the last second
Yeah, that
there.
was the ending of that game was insane. Like, if we had an ending of the week,
Mm-hmm.
that would definitely be it. Because didn't they win with like 4 seconds left or something
True.
on a random touchdown?
I thought it was last second field goal there.
I don't remember exactly. I know that they did win by 23-20, but I'm not sure exactly how that worked out. All I remember is them running it in,
Yeah.
and it made me sad because I
Mm-hmm.
watched my first place standings slip away from me in the
Yeah.
blink of an eye. It's like, gosh darn it.
One game can change everything.
Yeah, it really can. I mean, there's a lot of things that I should have done differently this past week, but I couldn't do it. So we'll see if I've learned my lesson in week 5. Spoiler,
Yeah.
probably
Mm-hmm.
not. But if you're ready to go, we can go ahead and get started.
Yes, I am.
All right.
But,
So beginning our week 5 matchups, we have Thursday night football. The how did Jonas put it? It's the horse race with
yeah.
the Colts and Denver.
Yeah. Obviously, the Colts, they're the one week they can beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and then the next week they 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 stunk out the bed there against the Titans there.
Yeah, and honestly, with their run defense, I expected them to put up so much more of a fight than
Mm-hmm.
they did against Tennessee. Now, they only lost by a score, so it wasn't like they got blown out or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
still, I'm surprised that they put up such a slow defensive front. And
Sure.
also, news, I believe, don't
Mm-hmm.
quote me on it, but I think that Jonathan Taylor has been ruled out.
Yeah. True.
Again, don't quote me, I'm not positive. I heard from the other room that
Yeah.
he's not going to be able to go. So, for fantasy managers and for this,
Yeah.
that's a pretty big deal, especially because for me personally, I made my pick prior and I went with the Colts.
Ooh.
So I'm in some trouble,
Yeah.
and I'm relying on Matty Ice, which is always a dangerous thing to do.
True.
But
But it's going to be hard against Russell Wilson and the Broncos there because that's my pick there.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I would like to think that it would be hard against
Mm-hmm.
the Broncos, but I'm honestly not really sold on the Broncos this year. He's not really doing that great for me.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how he does for sure, but I don't know. I'm just the jury is still out over on Joy's side of the world.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a split then this game.
Yep, first game up, and we got a
Okay.
split.
Okay.
Naturally, this is our usual pattern.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we have the Giants and the Packers,
Yeah,
which I
those
think
two.
is in London. Is it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and we're in Tottenham there.
Yep. So I was about to say, speaking of the other side of the world,
Yeah, yeah. This is the first time both teams have ever played in England. They're the only two teams that never played there yet.
oh, and how fitting that they actually get to play each other. That's great. So it's a
Yeah,
first time experience with each other.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the Giants are down their QBs.
yeah,
So this is
yeah.
not a very good experience.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Danny Dimes, man.
I'm not sure. I think he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure what happened. I didn't watch that game. I probably should have talked to Laura before I started doing this, but it's been a very, very busy day, and I just honestly the whole day was a blur, and I blanked for like the middle 8 hours. So
Exactly. and it's going to get tougher for them this week, taking on Aaron Rodgers there,
Yeah.
who week by the Patriots there in overtime.
Oh, I'm so sad about that. I'm really that game actually made me mad
Mhm.
because I was so hoping that the Patriots would win that one.
Mhm. But, but I think that's one's a no doubter for me. I'm going to take the Packers, obviously, to beat the Giants.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. The only thing that I like about the Giants is Saquon Barkley, to be fair.
Mhm.
So it's as much as I dislike the Packers, and I do dislike the Packers, I can't be dumb,
Mhm.
and so I'm going with them to beat the G-men
Mhm.
across the pond.
Yeah,
All right, heading back stateside, we have the Bills. If I can get the freaking thing to work, we have the Bills hosting the Steelers.
yeah. The question is, will the Steelers put Kenny Pickett out to the slaughter?
I don't know. I mean, you don't want your kid to get hurt, right? So you might not want to have his first start be against the defense of the Bills.
Yeah, obviously with Von Miller
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Mhm.
But he's got to learn sometime, right? So I think you just have to stick with him and see what the kid can do.
Mhm. Exactly, and it's not going to get easier for the Steelers facing Josh Allen there.
Oh yeah, no. The weakened Steelers defense facing the juggernaut that is the offense of Buffalo.
Yeah.
This honestly is the reason that I benched the Steelers defense in my ESPN league because
Mhm.
I was starting their defense pretty much all year long.
Mhm.
I can't do it this week. I can't. So I dropped them entirely, benched
But
them, and pulled up Minnesota. I pulled up their defense to start.
yeah,
So
so I imagine we'll be in agreement. Both take the Bills.
100%. I'm going with Josh Allen. I should have last week and I didn't, and I'm sorry, and I will not make that mistake again.
Mhm.
I am sorry, Mr. Allen.
All right.
All right. Next up, we have Herbert and the Chargers going to the Browns.
Yeah, but they surprised me there, the Chargers last week there. I was assuming with all the injuries there, they would struggle there, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah. For me, it was Eckler actually. He
Mhm.
had the lights out kind of game, so that was really really helpful, taking some of the pressures off of Herbert, so he could actually play and kind of recover a little bit. So it wasn't all on him to do. It was
Yeah.
really nice to see.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But I think they might do a little more better there this week. The Browns, they're I don't know what's what's with them lately there.
They need to get the ball to Chubb. It reminds me so much of Tennessee. You have a stud
Hmm.
running back, and you're not getting him the ball.
Yeah, they were mostly handing it to Mari Cooper.
Which, look, I understand when you have a weapon like that, and you want Jacoby Brissett to actually get comfortable with the offense and throwing, but when you have a beastly running game, not only with Chubb but with the others as well,
Hmm.
why wouldn't you know that's your bread and butter and
Hmm.
probably your jam? So
Yeah.
why wouldn't you use them?
Hmm. Exactly.
So I question a lot of things in that landscape. One of the things that I'm not questioning quite as much is the Chargers' effectiveness,
Hmm.
especially with Eckler. So
Hmm.
I'm personally going with the Chargers over the Browns, even though I do like their run game a lot.
True. Yeah, and I'll agree with you on that there, and I'll also take the Chargers.
All right, cool. We do not have many splits this week so
Yeah.
far.
Hmm.
Let's not jinx things.
Right.
This one, if we split on this, I will eat my pen.
Hmm.
The Bears and the Vikings.
Don't worry. You won't. Your pen is safe there.
That's
'Cause,
good. I like this pen
yeah,
a lot, actually.
yeah, because the Bears stuck it up against the Giants. So
Speaking of that, did you hear that they cut their kicker, the guy who was the only one to score points in that entire game? Like
Oh my goodness.
30 minutes after the game, they cut him. Guess where he
Oh,
went?
let me guess. The Packers.
Detroit.
Oh,
Detroit picked him up and signed him into the practice squad to take over for Siebert if Siebert's not going to be able to go. This
okay.
kid hit all 4 field goals, and he was
Yeah.
the only Bear to score points. And then
There
they
you go.
cut him. What is wrong
Yeah.
with you, Chicago? It's like you don't want to win.
Like your hashtag says, frick the Bears.
Frick the Bears. It makes no sense.
Yeah. So it's your favorite Twitter handle.
Yeah, it is. I should use it more often. I really should. What I need to do is have more stuff down at the bottom of my description.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just that blew my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously the Vikings there, as we discussed, their big big win over in England last week there.
Yeah, they have a very well balanced team. I said it weeks ago. They can hit you in the air or they can hit you on the ground. Their defense ain't that bad. So
Yeah.
it's like, they're a very well rounded, kind of hard to combat kind of team because you don't really know what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. So I imagine we'll be in agreement and both take the Vikings.
Yes, frick the Bears. My pen is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Love this thing. All right, moving on. Speaking of Detroit, who signed that 4-for-4 kicker, we have Detroit going to New England to take on Mac Jones 2.0 and the New England Patriots.
Yeah. The question is who the Patriots have for a quarterback now.
Uh, Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like Zappi. I first heard about him in a commission that I had to edit for SDS, and the guy that he was in call with loved Zappi and was just
Yeah.
chanting his name over and over again. So now, every time I see him on the field, I just hear Bailey Zappi over
Yeah.
and over and over again being chanted, and I laugh every time. So I like the kid. I'm interested to see where he's going, and hopefully Matt Patricia doesn't ruin him.
Yeah, true. And yeah, and the lines there, they 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 really made it close against the Seahawks there.
They did. I don't know what's going on. I think injuries are definitely playing a role on the defensive side of the ball because they're down a lot of starters, especially Tracy Walker. Missing out on him is very, very hard.
Yeah,
But they need to come up with some kind of like unpredictable scheme.
yeah,
So
exactly.
Aaron Glenn needs to do some work on that.
Yeah,
But I think it'll be an interesting game. I think it'll be a fun game.
yeah, close one.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be close.
Yeah,
It was
but
one of the last games that I picked, so it better be.
yeah, but I hope you're going to be right on this, and I'll take the Lions there to beat the Patriots.
Oh boy. I took Detroit too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, their offense is really high powered. My hope
Mm-hmm.
is that Amon-Ra St. Brown is good to go.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. He's still questionable, but my hope is he's good to go. TJ Hawkinson had a career day last week, so
mm-hmm.
one pride. Let's go.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
mm-hmm.
All right, now the team that narrowly beat one pride, we have Seattle going to Nolans.
Yeah. Obviously, the Saints coming off that double doinker loss to the Vikings there. I mean, question is Andy Dalton still going to be their QB, or is James Winston coming back?
That I do not know. I didn't have time to look anything up. I would assume it's still going to be Andy Dalton because if Jameis Winston was playing with that bad of an injured back, it's probably not safe to just toss him out there.
True.
Just a thought. We don't want a Miami situation going on in every team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe protect the players a little bit.
Exactly there. And obviously Seattle's doing well on the road there, as we said there against the Lions last week.
Mm-hmm. which is strange to me because they've always felt more like a home team than a team that would actually do well away.
Mhm.
But I mean, Geno Smith ain't even bad though, surprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this week I'm going to go with Seahawks to upset the Saints.
I actually went with the Saints on this one.
Whoa.
Yeah, I want to believe in the Seahawks and what they can do,
Mhm.
but their defense didn't really do a whole lot to stop Detroit. Now, either Detroit's offense is amazing, or Seattle's got some issues that they need to work out there, and I still think that the offensive weaponry of New Orleans is something to contend with.
Yeah.
So this is probably a bit of an upset, but I'm go ahead and take Nolans on that one.
Okay. So with another split.
Yep, but at least we only have two.
Yeah.
That is good.
Mhm.
All right, next up, I was really honestly tempted to go for an upset on this one, but we'll see
Mhm.
how this all shakes out. We have the aforementioned Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah. Yeah. But hopefully Dolphins will rescue there because he's fragile right now. After that.
Yes, he is 100% not playing this week. They have Teddy Bridgewater as a starter,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
Jets are surprising. Welcome back, Zach Wilson, for sure.
Hmm.
I've always liked that kid, so
Hmm.
that was that was fun.
Yeah. True there. Yeah. And I think I'm going to go with the upset there. I'm so sorry there, Joy. I think I'll take the Jets to upset the Dolphins.
Yeah, John did too.
Mhm.
I'm sad about that. I'm trusting Bridgewater,
Mhm.
and I'm taking the Finns.
Okay, another split.
Yep, I think that they're going to play well for Tua. I think is what's going to happen here is they're going to be motivated for their fallen QB.
Hmm.
I hope anyway. I don't like their
Yeah.
coach. I really don't like the coach, but
Yeah.
that's no here nor there. All right. Next up, we have an NFC South battle with the Falcons and the Bucks.
Yeah.
What say you?
Okay. Let's see. The Falcons there. They got a huge win last week there, and uh, and obviously obviously Tampa's coming off that huge loss to uh Kansas City there.
Yeah, I think it's possible that Brady's head wasn't quite in the game
Hmm.
with all of his family issues, and I think that's going to be more prevalent this week after the recent news. Now, I think that he is professional enough to put it all aside and just focus on the game, so it's not going to be like a hindrance that bad, but his performance was not that great. Although they did only lose by 10, they scored 31, so it's not bad. But Kansas City was just way too much of a buzzsaw, and my logic of the Brady bounce back was flawed.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with the Bucks this week to beat the Falcons.
I would tend to agree. Losing two in a row, never good for Brady. Losing three in a row, really hard to imagine. So I think that
Hmm.
he's going to come out fiery and impassioned and actually do what it is that he needs to do.
Hmm.
And we'll see if the defense can step up. I
Yeah.
mean, it is just the Falcons, so it should be fine, but I believe Cordarrelle Patterson might be hurt too. I'm not positive, but if so,
Yeah.
that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a hindrance.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next up, we have the Titans, King Henry,
Hmm.
going to Washington.
Take on the Commanders there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. That should be an easy win for the Titans there because obviously they're the the Commanders quarterback there played like crap there against the Cowboys there.
It do be Carson Wentz. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, you never want to say something is an easy win because any
Hmm.
given Sunday, I mean, the Jets beat the Steelers. Whoever would have seen that coming, So it can happen. Tennessee could have an off day. Derrick Henry could get hurt, heaven forbid, please don't happen. But
uh-huh.
I mean, you never know what could actually happen on any game. So
Knock on wood.
yeah, but I'm also going with Tennessee because yes,
Mhm.
so we're definitely in agreement there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that was easy.
Mhm.
AFC South battle
Mhm.
should be easy, might not be. We have the Texans and the Jaguars.
Yeah, obviously, Jaguars they're surprising me this season. Trevor Lawrence, there, he's doing pretty good there.
Yeah, he's actually not that bad. Um, maybe it just took like a year or two to actually get, rolling a little bit, but
Yeah, and right coaching there, helping them along there.
yeah, Doug Peterson, I didn't like him in
Mhm.
Philadelphia, but you can't deny that he's actually getting the job done and improving things a lot down there. So,
Yeah, so I imagine we'll be in agreement. Take the Jags.
yeah, I went with the Jaguars as well. For me, I do like Lovey Smith,
Mhm.
and I hope that going forward he can kind of build the team the way that he would want the team. But right now, they're still a bit of a dumpster fire. So I have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially at home.
True.
All right, speaking of teams that I should have gone with, we have the 49ers and Carolina.
Yeah, another surprising team on my end there. Obviously, they're the Niners there. Uh, I, wa- I was thinking that they might lay an egg against the Rams, but obviously Jimmy G and Debo Samuels proved me wrong.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what it is, but they have this thing over the Rams. They were talking about it being a coaching thing,
Hmm.
Shanahan and McVay, where it was like a chess match and they always knew what the other one was going to do. So it was going to be about which defense could step up, and it was Boza
Hmm.
and the defense of San Fran that actually ended up being the key there. So kudos to you. I am sorry that I didn't go with you,
Yeah.
but
Imagine
say
we'll,
Levy.
yeah. So obviously we'll be in agreement. Take the Niners to beat the Panthers this week.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. What did Carolina even do last week? It wasn't good. I remember
Yeah,
that much.
Arizona.
Yeah, they lost to Arizona by 10. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
and Arizona was said to have a paper defense. So, if
Mhm.
you can't score more than 16 on that defense,
Yeah.
good luck with San Francisco.
Hmm.
All right, next up we have, speaking of the Rams, actually, we have the Rams in a bounce back game of sorts, taking on the Cowboys, who I do not know if they will have Dak back, but if
Yeah.
not, Cooper Rush is not that bad. So
Yeah. Still doing okay there in the absence of Dak there. So
honestly, I'm excited for next season for Rush. I don't know. I mean, is Jerry Jones going to keep him on? Because we know how he is with people.
mhm.
Or is Cooper Rush playing himself onto a new team as a starter with as well
Yeah.
as he's doing? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of teams out there who could use a good QB.
Yeah. Exactly there. Hmm. Yeah. And obviously the Ra- Rams there. Rams there. Obviously stunk the bed there. So
Yeah, they did.
mhm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if in Los Angeles a lot of Cowboy fans make the trip there and uh, and out cheer the Rams there.
Well, that'd be pathetic, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think I'm going a little bit of an upset there. I think I'm going to rely on Cooper Rush there and the Cowboys to beat the Rams there.
Oh, I want to because I like the story of Cooper
Mhm.
Rush. I really
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
But I think I'm trusting the other Cooper.
Cooper Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going I'm taking the Rams on this one for a bounce back game at home.
Okay.
Dallas has had a very good run. Hopefully it actually continues. I like seeing this rise. I don't like the Cowboys
Mhm.
exactly, but I do like Cooper Rush and what he's doing.
Mhm.
So hopefully they prove me wrong. I will happily take a loss on this one, but I'm again not learning my lesson, and I'm trusting Stafford and the defense of the Rams.
True. Okay.
All right. Now, Battle of the Birds. Again, we have the Eagles. If I can, there we go. We have the Eagles and the Cardinals.
Don't wake Dino up if that's the case.
Yeah, he's good. He's chill right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll stay that way.
Yeah. Obviously, the Eagles are the last team undefeated there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every game is a trap at this point.
Yeah, exactly there. Yeah, and Arizona obviously coming off that huge win against the Panthers there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one could be a real test for the Eagles there, and I think they'll pass it there, and they'll beat the Cardinals.
I'm in agreement. Mainly just because I don't really like Kyler Murray. Of the two QBs, I would rather have Jalen Hurts, which I never thought I would say, to be fair. But I like the Eagles a lot more, and everything that they're doing this year so far has been very, very fun to watch. And AJ Brown, I like him a lot, so I'm trusting them over Arizona on the road. And I will say this is a trap game potential. So if I get this one wrong, it is probably already going to be my regret.
Yeah.
As is Detroit, to be fair, because I don't really buy it, but I'm going with them anyway.
Yeah. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. All right. Next up, Ravens hosting Bengals. AFC North war.
Well,
This could be interesting.
yeah, it could be there. You know, obviously, the Ravens need a bounce back game after that huge loss to the Bills there.
Yeah, the Ravens are my heart attack team of the season. Because every time I believe them, they blow it.
Yeah. And obviously, Bengals there coming off that win, but obviously it wasn't. It was a Howell win because of what happened to Tua.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but no one's talking about the win because of what happened, and rightfully so. They should have won handily because Tua never should have been out there in the first place. But I digress. So I do like Cincinnati a lot, and I think that they have potential of upsetting here. But that's just because I don't trust Baltimore, like at all, to ever hold a lead. So against my better judgment, again, I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, and I'll go in agreement with it there. So
yeah, again, every game with Baltimore feels like a trap because I either believe in Lamar Jackson and his ability to single-handedly move the ball, or I don't, and then he actually does. But if I do believe in it, then they always end up coughing it up somehow.
Yeah.
So they're my bane. I dislike them immensely. All right. So Monday Night Football now. We have an AFC West battle to cap off the week with the Raiders going to the resurging Chiefs, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. They're coming off a win against the Bucks there.
Pretty impressive win, too.
Yeah, there. And obviously the Raiders beating the Broncos last week there.
Yeah, which was also fairly impressive. They won by 11, I think. So 9. Math.
True.
Yeah, they won by 9.
Yep. But this one could be a close divisional battle there. So, but I think it's Patrick Mahomes that comes out on top there, and I'll take the Chiefs to beat the Raiders.
I agree. I think that the Raiders have issues with pressure and being able to, similar to Baltimore, hanging on to the win. And with a team like Kansas City, you can't really afford to have those kinds of issues. Like, if you're leading, you have to always be able to put the game away. Because if you give him 13 seconds, he will beat you with it, like he proved last year. So I'm taking the Chiefs to continue their wave of momentum, but the West is honestly up for grabs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So here's what we have going on. There's not a whole lot of splits. John and I have 2, and SDS and I have 2. So it's going to be a much more tame and quiet week than the previous. So
Yeah, true. And with me and you, we only have 4.
we have 4.
Yeah.
Why do we always have like at least a middly amount? Like we never have like 1 or 2. It's always 4, 5,
Yeah.
9. Like there's always something
Yeah.
notable that's going to sway the standings either massively one direction or the other, or everything just stays the
True.
same. So
Yeah. It's called taking a risk there with me there, I guess.
yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm taking a risk with the Lions this week.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, because it's just like I don't believe it. I really don't. I want to,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't.
Oh.
Their defense is just atrocious right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to buy into. There we have the week 5. Any final thoughts?
Sure. Not a whole lot there. Just remind people, please, on this page there to hit the like and subscribe and turn on notification bell for all future versus videos on here.
Yeah, thank you very much. As Jonas said, my ability to speak a whole other language with football to him is very impressive to him. So if you're listening, merci beaucoup.
Come on, Jonas.
Yeah, Steve says hi. Merci, je t'aime. And yeah, so we will catch you next week for week 6 of the NFL predictions versus.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, have a good one, y'all. Good luck.